then we are doing good. Okay, what do we have today in the forum of what's going to affect the markets? And of course, we're having the Euro group meetings. They're still meeting about the Greece debt and whether Greece is going to be able to pay them on June 30th. It has caused a lot of spikes. It spiked up this morning and then it spiked right back down. Initially, they came out and said, "Oh, we're going to reach a deal. It's not going to be a problem." And then they came in and said, "Well, we're not going to make this concession. We're not going to make that concession." And of course, it spiked back down. So be very careful today because I do think we're going to have more spikes. Okay. Then at 8:30, we have the final GDP quarter over quarter. We also have crude oil inventories at 10:30 this morning. Okay. Now on gold, and I'm primarily going to go over the 45-minute charts today. You can see I already have my support and resistance lines on all of my charts. On gold, you see that we have formed a congestion dot here. Now, buyers did come in as they formed that congestion dot. Okay, so I think they're going to come back. They're going to test the ATR. If we get divergence at the ATR, I think gold will go up today. If sellers step in, of course, it will go down. The first area that's going to either resist or support price, it's two zones here. There's a daily zone and a 720 zone. So, that's another area that you're going to have to watch today. Okay? Everybody understand gold? Now, if it does actually, this ATR, if it acts as support, and I think it may, then we could see gold go up to 1198.1. Okay? On crude this morning, we have had a magenta peak. It has retraced back to the ATR. And as it retraced back to the ATR, you see that sellers actually stepped in. You can also see that at the moment we're forming a congestion dot and it is at 1693. Okay. I would expect them to actually break that congestion dot, but typically they will still go back and test this ATR just to make sure that it does act as resistance. Okay. Everybody understand that one? As you can see, it actually came straight up to the red line this morning. As it approached that red line, buyers did not increase. It caused it to go down. Okay. Over on the Dow this morning, there we go. We do have a double area here from the 180 that has been resisting price. Okay, we just now started to get the magenta bar in here. I don't think there's enough room to trade that back to the ATR. So I would wait and see what happens at that ATR to decide whether I wanted to take that trade or not. Does everybody understand that? I would expect the Dow to come down to about 946, maybe even 890. But again, I would be looking at this as it retraces back to that ATR to see what happens. Pretty much the same thing on the S&P 500. You see that this ATR has held. We also have a double area above it from the 180. I would be anticipating the S&P to get to 2102, maybe 2096. On the NASDAQ, you can also see that the ATR has worked beautifully to actually resist price going up. Okay. So this was the bar this morning where they came out and said Greece may not have a deal. They're not sure yet. And of course, we get a big spike down from that. Okay. I would be looking to see if this retraces back to this ATR. We did have a lot of selling in on this bar, so I would be expecting a new low, potential of touching 45.16. Any questions on the NASDAQ? Do we need more coffee this morning, guys? Now, over on the Swiss franc, I do think we'll go up, and I do think we'll go to the green line again at 0792. You can see that as this was retracing back to the ATR, that there was absolutely no sellers coming in there. So I would expect them to at least test for buyers. Seems like they're doing that right now. That is very faintly blue here. We may see the 0792. It may even go and test this high. Okay, that's what I would be anticipating. Over on the euro, you can see we just had divergence. Again, I would anticipate it testing this area again. You need to be careful because of the Greek talks. Okay, it has really caused a lot of spikes up and down this morning that will continue through this morning. Over on the British pound, pretty much the same setup. It came back to this area that was on the 720. You see there was no selling there. There was divergence on this bar. I do anticipate it going back to 57.92 at the moment. Any questions on those guys? Well, the market closes at 5:15, so it would have to have been at 6 o'clock. Um, Let me put this on here. I presume that you're talking around here when it went back to the ATR. You had entry here. I don't know what time it was. Let's see. This was at 5:15 yesterday. This was at 6:45. Could you have entered that? Yes, because you definitely see there was a strong divergence to the downside there. And that was actually on the NASDAQ, the Dow, and the ES. Yeah, it's already played out on crude. You've already came back down to this ATR. I think the one driving factor today is this red line on crude. In fact, I think that's the target that we talked about crude going to earlier this week. I think it was in the market overview. I expected crude to do exactly what it did. If you go back, do you see how it came down here and it hit this line? Notice that buyers stepped in on that line. That line is from a 720. That's a really, really strong area that will support price. Okay. It's going to take a lot to break this red line. Okay. I mean, that's heavy duty resistance on crude. Okay. A better trade would be, hey, let it come down to the green line and give you divergence. Okay. Yeah, it has touched the red line, okay? And I'm telling you right now, that's strong resistance there. No, the green line is 60-31, 60-39. Yeah, it has been in a congestion zone. If you and I pointed it out yesterday, which is one of the reasons that um I felt like gold would go up and test this week and potentially come back down. Okay. Now on and you can't really read the volume right now on the 1440 because this is not completed yet. Um but I'm not liking that right now. A lot could change with the market report coming out. Well, I think it's going to go back up and test that top. Right now, you're at the ATR on the 720. Okay. I would think it would at least come back to perhaps this ATR test the previous high at 57.93. You don't have anything on the smaller time frames. I think the only thing you could do is say, okay, there were no sellers here. Probability is that it would go up and test 57.90. No, we're not seeing big ranges right now. And right now, just with the Greek talks, you're getting spikes up and spikes down. They're going to be very, very hard to trade, even on the binaries. Did you have a magenta volume divergence on the 45 prior to that? That's usually what I look for. If I had to do a euro trade, guys, on the binaries, I would go out until Friday. Prices at 12.27. Look for like 1300 range because I think this is going to bounce up here to this ATR, and that's pretty much confirmed over on the 1440. To me, that's a better trade setup than anything else I'm seeing. Yeah, I'd go out on the weekly. I wouldn't do it for a day because this is a 720-minute chart. Okay? It's going to take a while. It could take a couple of days. And then it would have to be a cheap binary. I don't have mine open on this computer, but it would have to be a cheap binary for me to take that. But it's like, I think it's, I can't remember what it is on the weekly. It seems like it's 20. So basically, you'd be four strike prices out. And the only reason I say that is because on the 1440, you're at an area of resistance. You have volume divergence. Okay. 1325 for 2225. That's the one I would take. Because I'm only going to lose $22.25. Even with commission rounded up to 25 bucks. Okay? That would be worth it to me. Yeah, and what we're not getting is any magenta in the ADX. Okay? You could initially set it at, 60 and then read your charts. Okay? You may have to lower it to 50. The thing of it is, you need a test for buyers, okay? To test for buyers, it's got to take out this high, which is at 1253, okay? So you know it should at least go to 1254. Well, 1325 is not that far off. If we get a spike, it could actually hit it. Does everybody understand that? To me, that's a better setup than trying to trade from 1211 up to 1245. You're not getting anything on that binary there. You can't go out of the money like I like to go. Do you understand that? And you've got all of today, you've got Thursday, you've got Friday for them to spike it up if they come in with a Greek announcement. I mean, really, that's bottom line. That's what it comes out to. Okay, that one just finished, and it looks like we have volume divergence. Let me shrink it up. So now they're going to go back and test on crude. They're going to test for buyers. That tells me that this ATR is probably going to pull down to about 6140, maybe even as low as 6130. That's where I would be reading the volume on crude. See, I don't like $42 premiums. I don't do $42 premiums because then it's going to have to move all the way. Even if you get a spike, okay, you're probably not going to make a profit, a decent profit on a $42 binary. To me, that's like risking half of my account to make $20. Right? It ain't gonna happen, guys. If you've got 1240, in order to get 1282, you're you're gonna have to go 2 to 3 strike prices above that. Not necessarily, because a lot of times to get the out of the money binary, you don't need it to actually get there. If it starts going there, you'll start making money. And on yours, viewer one, you've got 15 hours. I've got 72 hours. Double your risk. Are there any other questions this morning, guys? I did record it this morning. I'll post the video later today, about like I did the one yesterday. Well, I hope everyone has a wonderful trading day. And again, just be careful because the Greek deals are causing spikes. Okay? If they come out and say something stupid, they're going to spike this market. They've done it 3 times since yesterday. So just be aware of that. No problem. All right. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I'll see you tomorrow at 8:30 because tomorrow is the free live trading room. Okay?